Stop. Let's go for it. Stop. Okay, so welcome to this webinar delivered by Adam Heintoff, Early Years Performance Manager for Warrington Borough Council, and with me is Dave Roberts, who's Head of our Traded Services here in the Borough Council. And what we're going to show you today is the new My Early Years Services website, which is where you, as a early years provider of Warrington childcare, will be able to access all of our training and professional development opportunities from April 2016. So I'm going to hand you over to Dave, who's going to navigate you through some of the most common aspects of the website that you will be expected to use. So I'll hand you over to Dave.
Hello everyone. We'll start with where the website is based. So if you just open your internet browser and you go into the address bar here, and as you can see there, you type in www.myearlyyearsservices.co.uk, hit enter or search function here, and it'll either take you to the Google website if it's not quite typed right, or it'll go straight to this web page. What you can see on the web page, obviously the council logo, a little bit around the service itself, the information and childcare team, which will be known on the system as early years, to make that clear for you. Then you've got some tabs about us, which will give you a little bit more detail. We won't cover that today, you can read that in your own time. Then we move over to the training and events tab and the communication tab, and they're basically the main functions that the website has. In order to use the website for the first time, you're going to need to register. So to register, we've got a little button here called sign up. It's moving around there. If we click on that, what it will do, it will take you to the sign up form. You need to complete all of those boxes with the details requested. Click submit, and that will fire off an email to our administrator, who will action that account request in the coming 48 hours. Sometimes it'll be a lot quicker, and obviously accounting for weekends, but 48 working hours would be the maximum that we would expect it to take. If it is urgent and it's something you need to do now, you can give us a call, and there are some contact numbers that we'll have around the website for you to ring. Okay, so just clicking back and going back to the main page again, we'll start with how to browse for courses. So we've put some courses on there that are running throughout the period of March, just to give you a flavour of what they might look like. And we access those by clicking on the training and events tab here. And then when that comes up, what you'll see at the top of the page, a little bit of information telling you that you are on the training and events page, a planner, which if we scroll forward to March, will actually show you details of training courses that are available. So you can see there on certain dates, we are running training courses that you can access. You can either access them by clicking on an individual date. You can view the full planner, and by viewing the full planner, as you can see, you can go backwards and forwards a month, and you will get details of each of the courses on each of the day, and then you can access those courses just by clicking on those dark boxes, and that's the kind of page that you'll see. This page is always the same when you come to book a training course, but you can navigate there through a few different ways. So we'll just click back a couple of times again to take you back to the main training and events page. And what you have is a list of courses here that are run, and it gives you a brief synopsis and the title of the course, the date that it's being run, and the location that it's being held at. You can download a brochure which is in PDF format, and that will give you the full list. So if you work in a nursery where a number of people contribute to the CPD requirements, you can download a brochure and you can have a PDF copy to circulate by email, or you can bring it to the meeting and go through it and determine what training as a provider you need. On the left hand side, you've got some filters. The main filter is just a free type box, and you can type everything in there. So if we were to type values, we can see a course here that says promoting British values. If you were to click search, then those courses that have got the word values in will appear. So we'll get rid of that. And you can get rid of that either by highlighting it and pressing delete, or using this little X here. We can select a course by date range, so at any point in the next 12 months is this year, sometime in the next 30 days, or sometime in the next 7 days. You can also select by category, which is mainly centered around the different uses of the system. So for the purposes of what you need, it's not an area that you would generally use, but as we increase our offer and make the offer wider, that's something that you'll see a little bit more of in the future. Role again is something that we are looking to develop, so we'll be able to target certain courses by certain roles within our schools, within our nurseries and with our social care providers. And providers, again, that's something that we'll expand on in the future and possibly offer you access to the wider CPD offering across the council. But just for now, we're going to focus on the very specific early years courses. If I want to book myself on a course or somebody else, if we get rid of all of the filters again, search. And for example, I want to book some places on the early years quality network in spring, which is being held on the 15th of March, 10 till 11:30 at Great Sankey Children's Centre. I just click on the title and this page will begin to look familiar now. Got some details around a course outline because it is a briefing network meeting. Obviously the description and the outline are quite minimal, but it gives you an idea of who the audience should be. And a little bit more about where it's being held. You can view that on a map, which opens up in a new window. And if there are any attachments or if there is any pre-course documentation that we'd like you to read, that will be attached there. You can also contact the provider. So there you go, that's all the details for contacting the team. And there's an email address there at the bottom, which as long as you have got a computer that's got a predetermined mail program, such as Outlook, then that will open up in a window in Outlook, as you can see there. If we just close that off, what I want to do, I know I want to go on this course because the time and date suit, so I'd like to book. So we click the Book Now button, and then using the email that we've sent you around creating an account, you will be able to log in. If you wish, you can select and get the system to remember your username. And if you've forgotten your password and you have logged in previously, you can use the forgotten password link to request the resend your password. And we just log in. And this looks very similar. Over the coming months, we're going to redefine these booking pages to make them even simpler. But for now, quite simply, all of the information that we wanted is still there. We can either click Start Booking and it will take you to this page, this part of the page, which allows me to select the number of delegates. We can also download a flyer here, and that flyer will give you details of the course. And again, it's in PDF format, so if you want to distribute that to colleagues, either in the nursery or if you've got multiple locations, you can do that. But for this, in this instance, I'm going to book 2 people on this course. So we select that and we update the price. If the course is free, there'll be no charges displayed. And I want to go on this course, so I'm booking myself as a delegate. So we'll tick this little box and I'll show you the difference between that and not ticking that box as we go through. And then we click the request button. And what would we like to do now? So we've reserved ourselves a couple of spaces on this course. However, as with most courses, it's helpful if we have all the delegates, so we would prefer you to add the delegates at this stage. You can just go back to the training page and we can go to the checkout function later. However, at this stage, we would prefer you to add the delegates if you know them. So we'll click the Add Delegates button. And again, we can download the appointment on this next page, so we can put that in our calendar. For those of you who are technologically advanced, it comes in a .ics format, which means it's importable to almost any calendar that we use generally in the modern day in the UK. We can go back to view the training details, and this tells me the booking that I've made. So I've requested the booking be made on the 29th of February, just after 1:30. This is me, I'm the customer, but it shows that I've not actually bought them, so I haven't checked it out the shopping basket as you would do on Amazon or Tesco's website. And I haven't selected the delegates. So what we do here is we look at the delegate list below us, and because I selected me as the delegate, this is the test account that we use for my details, and this shows that that box has already been populated, but the second box still says empty space. What I'd actually like to do is add somebody on, So we will start to type a name, and you will see that a number of names appear, and I can select them if they're already a system delegate. And if they're not a system delegate, what we'll find is as we get a little bit further on, the names disappear. If it's a Stephen or Stephen, obviously you could try the different derivatives. But if you definitely know that person's not on the system, you can add them as a new delegate by clicking this little button here. And then when that drops down, you can insert their name, their job title, the email address. Now that's quite important, and we'll come back to that in a moment, and their contact phone number. That may be the provider's general number, that's fine. It might be a mobile number, it can be whatever you want. And then we click Save New Delegate, and you will find that they populate this empty space up here. Now, if we have a situation where actually what we would like to do is change a delegate, we can go back to this page, and we can navigate back to it at a different point. But we would basically pick somebody else, click Add, making sure that that box had a little tick next to it, and you'll see now that the person has changed in there. And again, to change it back, we put a little tick in that box, and we look for testing tester again, and we add them, and that confirms that the original delegate's back in place. So we need to finish. So we'll pick Lisa, who works in our Governor Advisory team. And now we've got 2 places and 2 delegates. So that's how we'd like it. If at this point we realise that we need a 3rd delegate, you can't keep adding delegates at this stage. You need to go back and you need to select an additional delegate from the booking screen. Once you've done that, you can scroll down. If somebody has some special requirement, so if we need some ramps and you know the building isn't suited to ramps, if somebody has a dietary requirement and food is being provided, then you can save these details in there. And then once you've done all that, the page automatically saves as soon as you navigate away from it. So you don't need to click a save button, but what you do need to do in order to check out is to go to your shopping basket in the top right hand corner, and you will see all of the details there. So that should look right. If you can't read all of the information, this little lamp above a nail, I'm not entirely sure why that's the logo, but if you just expand, then you can see that the delegates' names are already on there. If you do use a purchase order system, you can fill this section in, and then that will show on any invoice that we raise. If you don't, you can leave it blank, and then you just need to tick and confirm that you've read the terms and conditions and click checkout. And booking a course is that simple. To go back to looking at how to access that page, so if you go to your training page at any point, you will then notice that there are site latest bookings, and those 2 places have been allocated to that delegate, but we still haven't bought them because I never clicked checkout. We can go back into that, and that will bring us to the delegate page, and we can add and alter those delegates as and when. If I need to cancel, then there's a little box here, and there will be a cancellation policy, and that may change over time, so we won't detail that here. But if you do need to cancel a course, then you need to select the delegate that you're looking to cancel. So for example, Lisa's not able to attend for whatever reason. We state that reason in this little box here. We click request, and that will fire an email over to your team, and they will say if it's a reasonable request, then they will obviously allow for the cancellation, but it will be in line with the terms and conditions and the cancellation policy. Okay. If I've put something in my shopping basket, the shopping basket is available on every page of the website when you're logged in. I can go into the shopping basket, and I've decided now that actually we can't go on this course, so we've left it in our shopping basket. We've gone and spoke to our manager, or something's come up, and it means that that date is not available for us anymore. Then what we can do is just highlight it so it goes this lovely mustardy colour, and we can click on that little X there, and then it tells you that the training booking will be deleted. Are you sure you want to continue? I'm sure. I click yes, and that's no longer in there, and obviously no bills will be raised. Okay, so to go back to the original web page, the last thing that we want to show you today is how to search for resources. So from time to time, the team will make resources available to you, and this is where they will be. So you will use the communication tab, and the communication tab is split into two sections. So there are news items, so things that may be relevant to you as a childcare provider, either in a nursery or as a childminder, and then there are resources, which are a little bit more of static information. So we have the early years useful resources page, and on this page we will have links to the 4Children Twitter feed. We may add additional social networks as we see them, or if we think they're useful to you as a provider. You can automatically follow them from your account if you're logged into your account on your computer. And then we've got other useful pages which are around Ofsted inspections for your early years providers, our early years newsletter which is released periodically, some additional fact sheets, and documents that we think it will be useful for you to be able to download. And to download a document, it's quite simple. You just highlight anything that has got this download icon next to it and click on it, and allow it to open, and the document will appear there from where you can save that locally to your own computer, or you can continually return and download it as and when you need it from the website. Thank you very much for listening this afternoon. I hope that's been useful for you, and I hope you enjoy using the system.
Thanks, Dave.